Hello and welcome everybody for another round of the IRL F3 Championship. This week we are in Austria in Spielberg at the Red Bull Ring, home track for the Red Bull guys. And as always, I'm not alone. I'm joined by my lovely co-commentator, Sondre Sohag. Welcome yet again.
Thank you, Felix, and thank you for the kind words. And look at this. It is Austria, and it brings us some rain, Felix. Let's touch
Yes.
it, don't you think?
It's probably gonna spice up things a little bit. It certainly will. But I don't know what it will look like in the race itself. Last week we sadly weren't here due to the 24-hour race there was. So thanks to Jared Fosbury, you didn't have to watch the race without any commentary. So thanks very much that he took over for us there. But yeah, Sondre, rain that could spice those things up quite a lot. I mean, Austria is an easy track to drive, but it's very difficult to master. And right now we have a wet session, but it's Inter's conditions, and we have no idea if it's going to dry up. But currently it's definitely too wet for the slick tyres, and the guys that are coming out on track right now are on the Inters.
Definitely. There isn't many. There isn't many places where you can mess up your lap. The problem is just that tiny mistake. It's hard. It's just hard to regain. As there isn't many places to make up the time either. So, and with the rain too, it's going to be interesting to see who puts it on pole. We can see that Tyler Thomas, he's at an early exit in quali, but I reckon we're going to see the same people up there as usual, though, Felix.
Yeah, I definitely agree. We have 17 drivers grid, which is pretty solid yet again. F3 doesn't really disappoint in terms of attendance concerning the races. Currently, the first driver who is on a flying lap is PMP Try and Catch, which would be Thomas McIver, who won Monaco. So he's got one win already in this season, and hopefully he will be able to, minimize those mistakes he made in most of the races. Sadly, even more than he did before. Currently, he goes first fastest, obviously, with the only driver who has set a lap so far. But
Reese March is coming to the line now, but he's not going to beat it. He's going to be a couple of seconds behind us. You can see there is 17-2. So
that's
probably a little tricky right now out there.
Yeah, I think, like you said, usually it's very, very close in terms of pace here in Austria because it's such a short track. I mean, we only got 10 corners, 3 to the left and 7 to the right. So basically, it is pretty much impossible to make a mistake and still set in a good lap. Usually, like I said, the gap between the drivers is not that big, but when you just nail one lap, you could have a really big advantage over the others, as Tim Roos-Dalens is currently coming across the line to go fourth fastest only, and seems like Thomas McIver has set in a good banker so far. Currently 8 tenths in front of Callum Anderson, which is a really, really good sign for him, as we've got yellows in Sector 2. I think that's just a Haas letting another driver pass, and he is off the track. Pretty sure that's not planned, but he lets Luke Baker past, so he doesn't get affected. Also, Sondre, a topic we should talk about probably, the pit lane entry. Tell us something about it.
Well, it's not the easiest pit lane entry. Well, to be fair, it's not that difficult, but in terms of in the heat of the moment and not wanting to lose time, it can be easy to forget. But obviously, in this.
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Adam Corrigan has put the car into the wall out of turn 8, that should be. He's hit the wall and he's lost a bit of his front wing, so his lap is ruined. Sorry to interrupt you, but I just wanted to mention that real quick. Just go on with what you were saying.
But yeah, as I was saying though, the pit lane entry here, not the most difficult one, as long as you remember that you need to stay within the white lines, especially considering how fast-paced that second to last corner is. it's really important not to be on the racing line when you go into the pit, and unfortunately we see too many people forget about this, and I'm talking people in every levels then, top tier drivers, beginners, rookies, all kind of drivers do the mistake. So hopefully the drivers today will remember, but sure there'll be one or two who forget.
It's especially tricky. I don't think it's the best solution for the pit lane entry, if I'm honest, because
Me
you
neither.
basically cross the racing line, and when you go into the pits, you can't really do anything else. You just have to keep an eye on the guys that are coming up behind you. But it's difficult to avoid it because you have to go into the pit lane at some point, and you could still ruin someone else's lap with that. Which is not ideal. Let's put it that way. But hopefully we won't see too many incidents with that. Hopefully we'll even see none. But I don't know how about
Hopefully.
you, but I'm definitely looking very much forward to this race because Austria is a track which usually provides very, very good racing.
Mm, you sure it's not a little of your bias to being a German?
Now
Austria quite close, the neighbor country.
I don't want to say anything wrong right now, so I'm just gonna stay off that topic for a moment. But
But I agree. I agree completely with you. It's a really good track. The only problem is that it tends to create a slipstream train, and sometimes those slipstream trains can just be too easy to be in or too hard to reach if you're out of it. That's like that's the only problem with this track.
yeah, I think it's pretty similar to Monza actually, with
Yeah.
a lot of straights, and it's really difficult to break out of that 1 second DRS window when you're round about the same pace. But it's, like you said, also very difficult to get in it when there are a lot of drivers giving each other DRS and slipstream around this, yeah, absolutely power track. And yeah, it is going to be probably the main overtaking spot is probably going to be turn 2 if we're on it. Turn 3, I'm sorry. That little kink that Tim Brusanas is coming up to right now, that left kink you see up the hill, actually counts as turn 2. A bit questionable, I'd say, but yeah, I think turn 3 and turn 4 could be the main overtaking spots. As if you go past another car into turn 1, it's very likely to get re-overtaken by them on either the second straight or the third straight. Oh, and Temple Stalins goes off the track and has ruined his lap
So
with that
that.
one.
But yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you there. Turn 3, turn 4, that's the main overtaking spots. The problem is just that it's not that difficult to save your ERS there either, because like you really only need to push your ERS properly on that long straight to turn 2 and turn 3. After that, like you can push it a little depending on how close the car behind, and obviously the whole second sector you can just like, leave it in none if you want. Guy can try into the second to last corner, but he's not gonna get past there. That's the issue.
Yeah, definitely.
So we saw that in yesterday's IRL F1 race, for that matter, with Matthew and Jay trying to break away from each other, but they just couldn't because the car ahead was able to save up enough ERS to keep the car behind, and the car behind wasn't able to push the car ahead enough to make him run out of ERS. That's really the issue here.
Yeah, and Tyler Thomas has confirmed it's a wet quali and a dry race, which could prove pretty interesting. And we already saw many drivers making a lot of mistakes in this quali session. That definitely proves that these conditions are really tricky at the moment, especially through those high-speed
Well,
corners.
Farf is coming to the line, and that is going to be pole position provisionally.
Yeah, and Tom Spicer comes across the line now as well. He goes fourth fastest. Not too bad for the Haas driver. Also,
We
Callum
have
Anderson
Callum and
on a
Shane,
lap.
though.
Callum Anderson now coming down into turn 9. Then the second right-hander of turn 10 comes around the final corner, shifts down into third, up to fifth, and then it's flat out to the line. He goes third fastest for the moment, currently 3 tenths behind Paul Farthing.
It's a little interesting to see, though, Felix. Like Callum Anderson, obviously, is going into this race with 4 victories under his belt this season, and he's been like it's the clear championship favorite at the moment. But Paul Farding isn't that far behind though, and right now it looks like Callum might be a little on his back foot on Paul and actually his teammate too. So it could be interesting to see what this race brings.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, we talked about this now. I think Austria could prove some interesting moments. There could always be something going on. I mean, if you're not able to save your DRS properly, your ERS properly, sorry, then it is really difficult to keep the pace up around here. But like you said, it's really difficult to actually break out of a DRS train. And I think if you get a good start, as Shane goes completely off the track as he lost the back end. Hopefully he won't impede the driver behind him. No, he lets him through. That's very nicely done.
Drivers just aboard this lap.
And last week in France, we saw, like you already said, Callum taking his 4th win of the season actually now. So very impressive. Or let's say 3.5, because we had Bahrain, which was not a full race, sadly.
True.
And we see Reese March losing the rear end out of turn 1. In these tricky conditions, it's really difficult to get the power down, especially out of turn 3 as well, which he's now coming up to. Let's go on board with him for the moment. Will he brake too late? No, he clips the apex more or less. He doesn't really short shift, which doesn't help the traction. But his run was solid, and I think if he can keep that lap together, he should be able to climb up a few positions as he is currently
has just improved by
14th.
a second. Tom Jewell in his first race
Yeah.
as a full-time driver for McLaren now, so teammate with Billy.
Yeah,
Billy in the gravel.
Billy Mossam, also the driver who's got the fastest lap last time out. And yes, Andre, due to the fact that it's qualifying, we've got the time to talk about the championship. Tim Brewster-Steylens has fallen behind after his run of consistent podiums at the start of the season. He's now fallen behind a little bit. He's on 84 points at the moment. Paul Farding is on 93.5 because of that half race we had in Bahrain. And Callum Anderson currently on 111.5. So the championship is definitely not over yet, but it's going to be difficult for Tim to catch back up, and especially because Callum and Paul are just very, very consistent. Even when they have bad races, they always manage to more or less recover from it.
Well, you do have a point there, but gotta look at it for Tim though. This season is gonna be a win for him anyway, because like the consistency he showed at the beginning of the season it's nothing like we've seen Tim in the pre-seasons before this one. So like obviously he might have fallen a little on his back foot now, and this will probably not be his season then, but he just gotta think about carry on that momentum of consistency into next season after this, I think, because like he's proven to be a much better driver.
And Billy Mossam, I'm sorry to interrupt you, he went wide into the double left-hander and just spun round, so his lap is ruined. Just wanted to mention that real quick. I'm sorry to interrupt you yet again, but there's a lot going on in this session so far. But yeah, you are absolutely right. Tim has had a great start to the season, definitely, and he's really shown that he's grown in terms of his consistency, and even his pace was very, very solid at most races. And consistency is key. We know that from Real Life F1 as well, and he's proven that this season once again.
Well, he's definitely shown that he's grown as a driver. You mentioned the consistency and pace, but not just that, but like the decision making too in the races, like what moves to go for and what moves to like maybe stay away from. Like he's shown that he looks like a very different driver this season around, and I think a little more polished next season, and I think we'll see a team that finally grabs his first win here in IRL.
Yeah, that would be lovely to see. Um, I mean, we still got a few tracks coming up for us here in IRL. I'm not sure, but I don't think it's gonna be. Oh, yeah, there is gonna be Germany. So maybe he gets a picture perfect story and gets his first win in Germany. That would be lovely, wouldn't it?
I would definitely. It would be like a fairy tale for him, I imagine. He's been hunting for that first win for quite a long time now, and he's had the pace for podiums for well since he joined IRL, pretty much. But he's not had the right decision making, not had the consistency, and been too aggressive at times too. But now he's like after before the last season he started to show that he was changing a little, and this season he looks like a much better driver.
Yeah, definitely. He has developed quite a lot. And I gotta say, I love qualifying, by the way, because we have got the time to talk about these things, as the drivers are
Yeah, but
still trying to
right
get
now
used to the
Felix
conditions.
Tim is about to go over the line for the
I
last
am
time
actually on
in
board.
quali, and it's gonna be a 14-2, so it's not an improvement unfortunately for him.
Yeah, maybe he'll go for a second lap. He hasn't gone down with the ERS mode. Oh, he loses the rear end. That didn't look like it was gaining him time, but he's definitely going for another run. He hasn't got that much ERS left, though, so that's got to hinder him in terms of pace. But yeah, I gotta say, now he goes off the track and decides to call it a day for quali. But Paul Farthing currently on a lap, second place man in the championship, currently on provisional
Now,
pole.
right before Paul are gonna finish his lap, we're gonna have Tom Jewell over the line. He does a 15.7, so he's improved steadily then.
Thomas MacGyver only just made it across the line and started another lap.
Paul has invalidated his lap. That's
Uh,
unfortunate. Well, he's still sitting in pole, so
but we have Thomas MacGyver currently coming up to turn 3. Tom Jewell goes wide. That might have, distracted him a little bit. It can definitely do that when someone in front of you goes wide. Even though Tom just tried to, let him through, it's still gonna slightly compromise your run through the corner, but it's still all to play for. Now it's not. He goes off the track, hits the wall, and he spins around completely. And that is
what's
his
that, Adam?
qualifying over. And Tim is practicing starts on the main straight. could be actually helpful in these conditions.
And is there anyone else still?
I don't think there is.
Adam
Nope.
is not on the lap anymore. What about Luke? No, Luke
Nope.
is not.
That looks like qualifying is done.
Well, then I'm gonna let you run down the grid, Felix, and I will be excused for a moment.
Yeah, so Paul Farthing takes pole positions in these tricky conditions here in Austria at the Red Bull Ring. The Mercedes driver on pole once again, not quite 2 tenths in front of Thomas MacGyver, who's outqualified his teammate Callum Anderson, the current championship leader, in third place. Tim Dalens takes fourth, around 4 tenths behind Paul Farthing in P1. Billy Mossam takes P5 in his McLaren. He has not gone out for a last run, so he decided to call it a day earlier. Tom Spicer takes P6 in his Haas. A very good result for him. Luke Baker right behind him in the Ferrari in P7. Then we have Shane Calais in P8 in his Toro Rosso in the Red Bull sister car. Adam Spicer, did I mix up Tom Spicer and Adam Spicer there? I'm not sure.
Depends. I just got back, but Adam is the one in the Racing Point. Tom is the one in the Haas.
Okay, then I got it right. So then it was Adam Spicer afterwards. I'm very sorry. I wasn't sure there. The two brothers. Yeah, Adam Spicer P9. Adam Corrigan in P10. Then we have our debut driver, as when I'm informed
Richie Davey.
correctly. Yeah. So trying to find his name.
Richie Davy.
I'm sorry.
That is his name.
Richie. I'm very sorry. Yeah, Richie Davy and Tom Jewell in P12. Jessica Harrison in P13. Reese March in P14. Scotty, as I don't find his name. Scott McKenna. And I'm gonna run down the rest. I'm very sorry. 2 new names, already too much for me. I think that's fine.
It's not like you've been drinking lately, is it?
No, I'm completely sober. So I'm sitting here. Everything is fine. I'm completely sober. I got my coffee actually here. So I might just be a bit more hyped for this race than I'm usually. And yeah, by the way,
sunshine and flowers.
This weekend seems to be a record-breaking weekend for the F1 tier. We saw you now taking over in the most career races in IRL F1. So congratulations for that. You're now the driver with the most races done in F1, in the F1 division. And Matthew Older has become the driver with the most pole positions in the IRL F1 division. So 2 records have been broken yesterday. Congrats to Matthew Older as well, and obviously to you. As
what a record-breaking season it is.
Yeah, maybe we'll see a new few records, or maybe new winners or something. But then Tyler Thomas at P16 and Matt Romano, as always, last on the grid, as he always retires and never does quali. I'm actually not sure.
Well, not always. I believe he
Most...
tried to do quali here today, but...
No, I think he retired in the pits, didn't he?
Oh, hold on. My bad then. Nah, but Matt obviously he does often start at the back, but in a lot of instances, obviously he takes it a little more calm and collected around the track and picks up usually a few positions on penalty. So
yeah, that is
he's going for different track tactics than most others, but.
And speaking of different tactics, Sonra, we've got 3 people on a different compound than the soft. We've got Thomas McIver in P2, crucially, on the medium compound. So that might help Paul Farthing getting away and breaking out of that 1 second DRS window from the cars behind, maybe. Also, Adam Spicer in P9 is on mediums, and so is Matt Romano, who we were just talking about. And those guys will be attending these 10 corners each lap on a different compound than all the others who will be starting on the softs.
Well, I will have to say that, to be fair to at least Thomas McIver, he, like him and Callum being in second and third, like one of them had to do something different, or it would result in pitting on a different lap than most other people on softs, which is also not optimal. So right now I think they're trying to pull that off. I think Thomas is confident that he can also pull this strategy off. Obviously, finishing on the fastest compound can be the quickest too, so
that can definitely help. Like you said,
and of course Adam Spicer and Matt Romano on the mediums, that could pay off in the end too, so it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, I would be very glad if you could keep an eye on the back of the grid, as I think the lights are glitched again for me. Yes, they are, but we are coming up to the race now, and the lights are now out. It looked like a very, very good start from Paul Farthing. It's been McLaren in the back who's had a shocking start. He stood still. Tim Bruce-Dalens had a great start. Thomas McIver's dropped positions already. Tim Bruce-Dalens has gone side by side with Callum Anderson, who keeps his spot, but Tim up into P2 already, coming up to the turn 3 uphill right-hander. Then in the background we've got Tom Spicer diving down the inside of Thomas McIver. Can he get the move done? Thomas McIver on the outside with a better grip, with a better run out of it. Can he get the position back of the Haas driver? They're side by side coming down into turn 4. Not the best camera angle I've got right now, and Shane Khalil has to avoid Tom Spicer to not crash into the back of him, but they kept it clean at the front. How is it at the back of the grid?
Well, it's fairly clean out too. There is a few battles and there was a few people who looked like they had horrible starts, but there's been a few moves made, nothing too special, but So far, it's looking like they're keeping it clean, so that's how we like it.
Yeah, and Shane is definitely putting the Haas of Tom Spicer under a lot of pressure at the moment. He's right upon his rear wing, and Paul Farthing has had an amazing start. His getaway was so good. Thomas MacIver seemed to have slightly bogged down. Tim Bruce-Dalens already picks up a 3-second time penalty at the start of lap 2. That is not what he wants to see, but he has had a great start. He's up into P2 and has already built a 1.3 second gap to Callum Anderson in P3. But here comes Shane Calais around the outside of Tom Spicer. Backs out. Maybe he goes for the switchback. Yes, he tries to. Can he get the traction down? No, he can't. Tom Spicer with a better exit. Betty Mossam has rejoined the session, which won't really help. In the background, we've got Thomas MacIver, Tyler Thomas going side by side with Reece March. Is the Williams going to make it 3 wide? No, he's not. They are still side by side, Reece March and Tyler Thomas. Tyler Thomas seems to get the upper hand on the racing point. Yes, he has, and Reece March keeps P10 at least in front of the Williams.
And what a battle that was. Let's now look at this. Scott McKenna is right on the rear of Richie Davey here too, so the battling for that, what is it, 9th position is definitely not over.
Yeah, they are definitely in the fight. But Tyler Thomas, what an amazing start.
On Scott McKenna into turn 1, he's going to take it right up the inside.
Oh, Scott nearly lost the back end, or he did lose the back end, but he managed to save it.
Fight back though. Tom does have the DRS, but Scott has slipstream. He's going to have to back out of that one. He's going to try to go for a move. Oh, as Tom has actually gone deep, which puts Scott McKenna ahead of Tom with DRS, and he's going to keep his position for now then.
Oh, and up front, Tom Spicer and Thomas MacIver switched position for a short amount of time. The Ferrari have switched positions. And there's been a spin in the background. I think that's McLaren. Yes, that is Tom Jewell. He has kept it out of the wall, it looks like. He's still got his front wing. But I didn't quite see what happened.
Well, I had just switched away from that point. From Tom and those guys. I didn't see it either, but
big winners. The big winners of this start zone right now is definitely Tim Bruce-Dalens, who's up into P2 from P4 on the grid. Also, Tyler Thomas with a great start. He gained 7 positions off the start and is up into P9. Amazing stuff. Jessica Harrison is currently in the pit lane, so it looks like she has picked up some front wing damage and has to change front wing, which is really unfortunate.
Thomas MacIver is going to be under a lot of attack from Tom Spicer now as they head down to turn 4. Tom Spicer for the outside line. Thomas is still there. He's going to leave him. Oh, I'm not sure if he's left enough space.
It didn't look like he left enough space, but Shane said thank you very much.
Well, Shane picked up that position. I don't think Tom is as happy with that though, but I'm sure that Shane will have a go at Thomas soon now, as we can see that Thomas is actually going slightly defensive into the second last corner, thinking that Shane might do some shenanigans.
We really see the top 3 building a bit of a gap to P4 to Thomas MacIver, who is obviously on the slower compound. Shane thinks about a move into turn 1. Tyler Thomas picks up another spot. He gets past Adam Corrigan. He's now up into P8. Great stuff from the Red Bull driver. So here comes Shane though, up down to turn 3.
Thomas has just conceded that position. He's going to try to do a switchback. He does have DRS here, but
also think about Tom Spicer in the background. Tom tries to get Thomas MacIver back, who clips the grass actually on the outside. They're going side by side into his. Is it going to be payback from the lap before? Not quite. This time the room is given for each driver. And Tom Spicer's got the position from Thomas MacIver, who's dropping down because of his slower tyre. And while all this is going on, up front we've got Callum Anderson breaking into that 1 second window of Tim Bruce-Dalens. And that is really crucial, because now he can get dragged along by the Renault driver, and like we said, that could be the DRS train that he needs. Tyler Thomas with a penalty.
Not good for Tyler picking up that penalty, but what a start from him though. Like, He's a driver who came into the season with the goal of finishing a race, Felix. And now, in this race, he's just picked up. How many positions was it? 7, 8?
Eight, now 8. And here goes Luke Baker on the inside of Thomas
Ooh,
McGuire, but there's
as
been contact,
Thomas
and
taps
Tom
the rear
Spicer.
off Tom.
That's, it seems like those two haven't got the best relationship. And Tom Spicer's dropped down to 10th. He won't be happy with that. And Sondra, I gotta say, that looked completely like Thomas McGuire's fault.
I gotta be honest, there isn't much to say on it. Like, Luke was trying to make a move on Thomas. Thomas then made sure to brake later, and that was too late with Tom Spicer being ahead of them. And then Tom Spicer into a spin, unfortunately for him.
Yeah.
Fortunately for Tom Spicer, though, he's within the DRS of Richie Davies, so he's in that train actually. So
Oh, someone's gone off the track completely.
they could have lost more, but it's definitely not.
Look at Tyler Thomas. He's on a hunt this time. He's on a mission on this race, and he's trying to get past the Ferrari. He's not quite past him.
Around the outside.
Oh, leave each other room.
No.
Oh, and he bounces off. I don't know what that was. Great job, game.
I know,
but that screwed.
Because I did that yesterday.
Oh, I literally have no idea what happened there. I don't know why the game has put such a weird thing up there, but he has bounced, which was completely out of context. And in the meantime, we've got Richie Davey going down the inside of the second Ferrari as well. Can he get 2 positions within 1 corner? No, he can't. But Luke Baker's lost 2 positions within 1 single straight. And there goes Tom Spicer back down the inside of Luke Baker, and he gets back up to P8.
I gotta say here, Felix, talking about Tom Spicer, he's really shown progress since last season. Last season he was a steady midfield runner to the back of the midfield around that area, but this season, now lately, he's picked up a podium.
Oh no, Tyler Thomas is spun! Tyler Thomas is into the wall, I think. No, he's still got his front wing. Oh, that's very lucky for him.
Sure to not rejoin safely.
Oh, he's been on such a good run. And then the game's ruined his run down to turn 3. And now he ruined his own run, it looks like, and he's spun round. But look at Richie Davey. He's right in the slipstream of Adam Corrigan. Can he go down the inside into turn 4? He goes for it. He sends it. They're leaving each other enough room, and Richie Davey gets the spot. Oh no, Adam Corrigan is spun, and Tom Spicer, yet again, one of the most unlucky drivers on this track right now, and he's lost front wing. How unlucky can you get? First you get spun by a driver behind you who's misjudged his braking, and then you get taken out by a driver who loses his back end and slams into the wall, and you're the one getting front wing damage.
Well, I think most people would be pissed in that situation, to be honest. Not really much else to say about it. It's like you haven't done anything.
Oh, sorry to interrupt you, Sonny, but this is really important. This is for P2. Callum Anderson round the outside of Tim Bruce-Dalens. He's caught up more and more within the last few laps, and now he's got the move done. Can Tim Bruce-Dalens fight back, though? He's currently still 4 tenths behind. He's got the DRS, but I think he's just that bit too far back, and he hasn't got much ERS left.
Oh, and I think Tim's DRS is broken.
Oh, that might be the case. I didn't see him open it.
That's not going to be good for him, trying to keep up with Callum with much more ERS at the moment.
But we've got a lot of battles going on at the moment.
But look at this though, Luke Baker on Tom Spicer. Tom manages to stay ahead.
Tom Spicer's still with the front wing damage. He's missing a whole end plate, and especially through those fast corners here in the middle sector, that's going to cost him loads of time.
It's the left side, so these 2 corners aren't going to be too bad, but this next one is going to be worse. And especially these last 2 corners is going to be horrible for Tom Spicer right now.
As I quickly have to...
Early to make up for that loss of downforce though, but...
Oh, can he go back down the inside?
Luke Baker down the inside in turn 1, that ends up in a spin! And I think everyone's been able to come out of that without any damage.
Yeah, I think everyone avoided that quite well. but a very unfortunate incident there. I think, yeah, I don't know if they didn't leave each other enough room or what in the end caused it, but that looked like a racing incident more or less in my opinion. But here goes Adam Corrigan down the inside of Reese March on the straight. Looked like an easy move, but they're still side by side in the braking zone. They're going side by side through turn 4, which now leads into the double left-hander in the middle sector. Reese March is trying to hold it down the inside. This is great. They leave each other enough room. Adam Corrigan has got the better run. This is great racing, and Adam Corrigan keeps the position, or actually gets the move done. I'm sorry, he was behind Reese March before, now he's back up into P8. Oh, and that's very late on the brakes from Reese March, and he nearly hits the rear of the Ferrari.
Oh, look at this. I feel bad for Tom Spicer. You can see how much he's struggling in those last 2 corners. And look at this. Adam Corrigan is going to go for the move Luke also went for. Adam backs out of it, though. He's going to wait for the straight. I think he's going to have to wait for the next straight now.
Yeah, but now he could be under pressure from Reese March behind him.
You know, I just noticed Tim has fallen out of the DRS range from Callum Anderson.
Yeah, Tim is not able to stay with him. And Paul Farthing, in the meantime, is really controlling this race. He's currently got a 3.5 second gap to P2 driver Callum Anderson, and that would be crucial in the championship. Those would be 7 points he would catch up to his championship rival. But I gotta say, Sondre, that's exactly what we expected from this race. A lot of battling, a lot of close fights, and fairly clean between some drivers, but a lot of incidents sadly already, especially for Tom Spicer. It has been really, really unlucky so far.
It's been... This hasn't been his race, to say the least, and oh, look at that, Luke Baker definitely picking up a warning in that second to last corner there.
I saw the same.
With miles off track too.
That was an interesting line, I'd say. But
I think I don't think I would use that line, to be honest. But,
no, I don't think that's going to gain you time in the end when you pick up that 3-second time penalty. And
I think I pick up enough warnings
March
as it is.
has completely outbraked himself. But then we have Adam Corrigan in the slipstream of Tom Spicer. We had a great camera view. Now we've got a very bad one. But Tom Spicer's got enough straight line speed to stay in front, even though he's got that front wing damage. And he's doing a really good job to stay in front here and still hold P7 for the moment. And he is on the softs, so he's not too far away from his pit stop. And talking about pit stops, Callum Anderson is the first of the top drivers to dive into the pit lane.
He's gonna try to do the undercut on Paul here, and I gotta say I completely understand why he does it. He has to try something. He's not gonna be able to just catch up to Paul if they do the exact same. So
exactly, and this lap is really crucial for him. He needs to put in a good lap. He's got a bit of clean air in front of him. Next car in front is Richie Davey, who's currently in P5. A really good job from him so far. And
strong debut so far.
He's gained 6 positions in general so far. So has Matt Romano in P11, as Adam Corrigan has just pitted, and so has Reese March, who is up into P8 at the moment. So a lot of drivers with a really good start, but some drivers have lost a lot of positions as well. But still fair play to Tom Spicer, who has done a great job so far by staying in front of Reese March and actually pulling out again.
Into the pit now. Farth is still staying out though, Felix.
Farthing is staying out, and that could really make the undercut for Callum even stronger than it even is just by 1 lap.
It could.
But maybe he's confident that he can stay in front. But I think Tim might come out behind Tom Spicer and Reese March right here, which could prove costly in the end. And yes, he does come out behind both of them, so he doesn't have clean air, and the undercut won't really work for him.
Well, these guys should be heading into pit on this lap now, though. In that case, as those soft tires they aren't much good anymore.
Yeah, and we still got Thomas McIver out on track on the medium compound. Tim has already made a move, and he's gone past Reese March on the 3rd straight. and that looked like a pretty easy one. Callum Anderson in the meantime catching up to Richie Davey.
Now Paul is going into the pit, so let's see then. Where is Callum? He's heading into the second to last corner now. He has Richie Davey right ahead of him.
This could be
Davey
close.
Is still going, interesting.
This could be really, really close between the two of them. Paul Farthing is now allowed to go full speed, and Callum Anderson is right behind him. Will he get him? He could get him up.
Look at this,
the
we're
run.
going to get a proper fight here.
Oh yes, this is great. The undercut has worked. Not completely yet, but he has got the DRS. No, he hasn't, but he will get it on the run down to turn 4. But there goes Richie Davey.
Davey isn't giving up on that position. He's going to fight back with Callum here.
Oh, and Callum will be furious in the cockpit. He's not going to be happy with that, will he?
Well, to be fair, Richie is there. He's allowed to go for that.
Yeah, of course. But it must be pretty frustrating for him.
But it's gonna be quite annoying for Callum. That's true. Callum, it has to be said though, Callum has murdered his ERS trying to make that undercut work. So if Paul is smart now, he's just gonna slap it in, overtake and hot lap and just, well, pretty much just break the DRS with Callum. Should be able to at least.
Yeah, and we actually got 3 people out on the hard compound, which surprises me actually. Tyler Thomas on 5 lap old, that makes sense. But Reese March has only just pitted for a set of hards, and I think Adam Corrigan could have also made the mediums work, but he didn't decide to do so. Matt Romano is still out on his mediums. He's currently in P7, so a really good race from him so far. But Callum Anderson is still inside that 1 second window he needs to be in. But like you said, his DRS is completely gone.
Farthing is doing exactly what I said though. He's just trying to put in the best lap time he can right now, breaking DRS with Callum. He's now actually done it.
Oh, there goes Richie Davey in the fight with Reese March. He's been undercutted by Reese March on the hard compound. Can he get back past? Yes, Reese March outbreaks himself, and Richie Davey says thank you very much, goes back up to P8, and that should be net P6 when Adam Spicer and Matt Romano in front of him go into the pit. So really good job from him so far.
Oh, look at this. Callum's actually done a masterful last sector on this lap, and he's closed that gap to Paul, and he's inside DRS again, but he's still going to have that ERS issue though. He's not going to be able to recover properly from being that low on ERS at the moment if Paul keep trying to break DRS with him. As we can see that he's almost done again now.
Yeah, I think he's actually a bit stronger than Farthing is in the second sector, in the corners and in the final sector. I think that double left-hander, he gains quite a bit of time through there. And currently he's recovering the ERS quite nicely.
Oh, but there is a fight we're missing here, Felix. It's Luke Baker on Scott McKenna.
And also Tom Spicer has made a move after his front wing change. He's gone past Tyler Thomas. He's now right behind Reese March. Can he go past him, go up to P9? They're going side by side.
Look
and
at
he makes the move.
The outside.
Great job by Tom. Tom is doing such a good race so far. I mean, he's had everything thrown at him, and he still manages to stay in P9 inside the points paying positions. I mean, he's been spun round, he's got front wing damage, and he's still inside the top 10 and not far away from Richie Davey.
Does he still have front wing damage?
No, not anymore.
He's fixed it, yeah.
Yeah, he fixed it in the pits. That's why he lost quite a lot of time. But he should be in net P7, I think.
Look at this, though. Paul now, he's looking like he's asserting his dominance here now. He still has more ERS to use than Callum, and he's broken the ERS properly this time. Callum's going to have to work to get in again, and this is not going to be an easy task for Callum.
Not at all, but we've got the 2 Ferraris fighting for position. Adam Corrigan tries to defend from his teammate Luke Baker, as he just makes a beautiful switchback and gets past his teammate. And with that, up into P12.
Tyler Thomas and Reese March 2 going side by side, going into this double left-hander. Looks like Tyler has made that move work. If not, Tyler is the one defending. I'm not completely sure about that.
I think Tyler has made the move on Reese March. I'm pretty sure Reese March was in front. But Tyler Thomas, even considering he spun, he has done a really good job so far.
Oh, he has.
And it's alright, we've got quite a lot of battling going on. Again, F3 is not disappointing anyone at all. And Tyler Thomas is now catching up to Tom Spicer, who just picked up another penalty. Don't know if he already had one, I think he did. And I think he's now up to 2 penalties, if I remember it correctly. I saw it pop up before once. And now he's going to be under pressure from Tyler Thomas behind him, who is on hard tyres. He can go to the end, but surprisingly, he has really good pace on those tyres.
Did not pay attention for a moment there, Felix. if you had a question or anything, then...
No. It was... I just thought you maybe want to talk about this, but I just mentioned that Tyler Thomas is on hard tyres, can go to the end, and has still shown some great pace so far, and is actually able to stay with Tom Spicer, who's on fresher mediums.
Well, I mean, obviously Tyler can get an advantage at the final, maybe 5 laps, give or take.
The commentator's curse, a penalty. What else could it be?
Yeah, well, that's the thing I was gonna bring up. Actually, I've noticed that Tyler has gotten a few penalties already, so I think he's definitely about to reach double figures of time penalties in seconds. That is, so I think it's gonna be hard for him to get an upper hand on Tom that way, but he's definitely looking good today.
Also, Thomas McIver, I just wanted to talk about him. He has still yet to make his pit stop, but he's going onto soft tyres. So he'll have to drag these softs for 16 laps. That's quite a lot. Those are going to be pretty dead towards the end, but he's still got chances for P4 as he comes out just a few seconds behind Shane Collet. And he is still in the hunt for P4, maybe even a podium on penalties, but I don't know how many he's got. And also Adam Spicer and Matt Romano are still yet to pit.
Gotta say though, Thomas, this is a risky strategy by him. He's gonna have to drag those soft tires way longer than you're supposed to drag them, and we both know, Felix, they drop off quite heavily at the...
They do, absolutely.
Lap, what is it, lap
around
9, around there?
Yeah, lap 10, 11 maybe, when you're good with tyres, but still, it's going to be really tough for him. We can see as well. I'm sorry, my throat gets a bit dry. If you could take over for a second, I need to drink something, otherwise...
Well, I'm not sure where you're looking right now, Felix, so...
I'm looking at Tyler Thomas at the moment.
Tyler Thomas, well, to be fair, that is where the closest... Oh, but look at Luke. On Reese March, he's made the move work in turn 4, as he's now gonna solidify that move around his double left-hander, as he's then taken away P11 from Reese March in his racing point.
I'm very sorry for the camera work. I didn't show it because I was holding my water in my hands. But that was pretty similar to real life, though. I mean, in real life, they sometimes just show the fans instead of the battle, so that's fine, I think. But, Sonny, what I talked about, Thomas McIver could still be in the hunt for a podium. I know that Tim has got penalties, and he's in P5. He's caught up so much to Shane Carlea already. He's got enough time, but like we said, those tyres will be dead at the end. But look at the amount of DRS he's got, and he's only 2/10 behind, and then it's only a 4-second
look
gap.
At this, Thomas McIver and Shane
has
no! The wall. And Thomas has lost his whole front wing. Shane is out, I guess. And it's a safety car.
Oh! And Shane left. And Shane left. Oh no. Ah, that's rule number one in motorsport. Rule number two, actually. Rule number one is don't crash with your teammate. Rule number two is never give up. And I think that's what Shane did. I think he just rage quit, which is really sad because he was still running in P4 now with the safety car. And you know who that helps quite a lot? Matt Romano and
Tim.
Adam Spicer. Look at that. They
Oh
haven't
well,
pitted
yeah,
yet.
yeah. That is. Ooh, good point. Good
They're
point.
gaining so much time now because they don't lose a whole pit stop. Adam Spicer is in P6 on the best tyre at the moment. That's fantastic. And Matt Romano also in P9. That's great. That's the luck they needed, and they got it, and they are up quite far. Thomas McGavin is still not out of the race, but that incident will definitely be on an investigation. Paul Farthing pits. What will Callum Anderson do? He also pits. Will Tim stay out? No, he also pits. So if I'm honest, I would have stayed out and risked it if I
Oh
was
no,
Tim.
no! Are you crazy? These top guys, Callum, Faring, and Tim. If one of them pit, all of them gotta pit because like.
But so
If
keep in
one of them
mind.
is on 10 lap old mediums and the two others are on fresh softs, that is just an easy job for the two others. Then.
Keep in mind though, Sondre, Tim that would have been his only chance to win the race. I think his pace is not enough to overtake both of these guys in front of him. Actually, now three, as one ghost car is in front of him. Thomas McIver's pitted again. I don't know what for. New front wing.
For a wing change.
How did he get front wing damage?
I think I don't know how, but he's managed to damage his wing under the safety car then.
Well, basically, that's his podium chances thrown out the window now as he drops nearly outside the points. Well, that's a bit of a bottle, I'm afraid.
Not just a bit, not just a bit.
I mean, to lose your wing on the safety car, that's quite impressive.
Well, it does happen sometimes when it breaks down and creates a chain reaction, but we weren't really at that stage yet, so...
We've actually got one car that is lapped. That's Jessica Harrison, who is one lap down. What is Tim Brosdanen's doing? He's diving into the pits. He's got front wing damage as well. What is going on, Sondre?
I do not know. I don't have a good answer for you there.
I'm not even sure if that's legal because he overtook all the cars before he went into the pit lane. And that was not inside the white lines for the pit lane entry. And Adam Spicer's just got a 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags, I think, because he passed Jessica Harrison.
Who?
So, Adam Spicer is currently in P4, net P3, because Shea Calera is not in this lobby.
Oh, and look at this, Tyler Thomas in P5 on 15 lap old hard tires. He's gonna try to pull something off her. I think it's gonna be very difficult for him though. Those hard tires is gonna be no match for the drivers behind.
Yeah, that is gonna be really tough. But Tyler Thomas, for the moment, he's sitting at Red Bull's home track in P5. So he called me crazy for staying out on mediums, and Tyler Thomas is staying out on 15 lap old hards. So that's gonna be interesting.
Well, if I were him personally, if the safety car doesn't go in on this lap, I would just change tires on this lap then. But, and
Adam Spicer, what happened there? He's lagged in front. Did he just lag into P1?
He did.
He's lagged into P1, and now Paul Farthing is second. What? Adam Spicer, don't. I'd give those positions back if I was you, because otherwise, I'm pretty sure that's a pen, even though it was a lag. But you can't just take. How many positions was that now?
It's difficult
3?
to say though. Like if he lagged, it's actually difficult to say what his. What he saw himself, or if it's actually in that first position right now. I don't have a good answer to this, Felix.
We got some more contact. Adam Corrigan has actually hit the car in front, which is Tom Spicer, and has also lost front wing. So Zodray, I have no idea what is going on in this race. The safety car phase is more crazy than the whole race.
Well, I don't have a good answer for you, as it looks
And now
like
Spicer went off track. He may hurt us. And because I said I'd give these positions back to not get a pen. He doesn't have to give the position back to Shane because Shane has lagged out. So he is not actually in this race. So I don't think he needs to let him pass.
I gotta be honest there, Felix. I'm confused about that lag.
But I think Spicer Adam might have heard us in the stream and decided to let them pass, because right now I don't think that's penalty worthy then. I mean, he gave the positions back except from the car that is not in the session, and I don't think you need to give a position back to a car that is not even in the race.
Oh, but it's safety car in this lap.
Yeah, and Paul Farthing is now again in the lead. But this is crazy. Let's see how it is in terms of penalties. There's so many 5-second time penalties popping up for different reasons. Let's see how it ends. But Paul Farthing controls the pace now, and we'll see when he is going off. Callum Anderson has already gone more or less side by side. Not quite. Now he stays behind. And we've got 10 laps of green flag racing coming up now. And Farthing goes now. That hasn't been the best restart. Callum Anderson is actually pretty close. If he is able to use his ERS mods properly, he might get past. Adam Corrigan dives into the pits because of his front wing damage. That's unlucky. Adam Spicer currently in P3. And Callum Anderson only 4 tenths behind. Let's see, Callum Anderson still only 4 tenths. He has still got a chance for this race win. I didn't see any penalties for Paul Farthing popping up though, but those might change the end of the race. Although there are many overtakes in the background which we couldn't really keep an eye on. And Tim Rostanian's currently in P6. I'm very confused which driver is in which position in the end in terms of penalties. But we definitely have a race up on our hands now, and also a race for the win in the end, which is great to see. And so many drivers which are doing well are now so far down the field. And
now Tyler is gonna test out those hard tires.
Yeah, I can see
Richie Davey right on his rear, and right behind Richie Davey we have Tim Bruce Dalins. So we have a debutant and one of the championship contenders, so this is going to be interesting for Tyler Thomas. As you can see that he struggles to get a good exit in turn 1. Richie Davies up on his side already. He's going to go for this move into turn 3 as he's going to make it around the outside, but he goes very wide. But his tires is just way better, and he gets the move done on Tyler Thomas. Now Tyler will be challenged by Tim fairly quickly, I think. Tim aborts the move there, but look at this. Tyler is struggling with his tires as Tim is going to look for another move sometime shortly, as we can see that Tyler is trying to get the best lines possible to hold off Tim. But look at this, Tim is just getting...
Oh, that was close.
I thought Tim was going to end up in a wall for a moment.
So did I. And we've got Tom Spicer out of the race. That's really unfortunate.
Tom Spicer, that is...
He had a great foot.
That's not the fairy tale end for him today.
But there goes Tim yet again in the slipstream of Tyler Thomas. He wants to get past him as quickly as he can to stay with Richie Davey, who's already building up a gap of 1.3 seconds to Tyler Thomas. But Tim has got the DRS, I think. Yes, its rear wing is open.
He's going to go for the outside line. He's going to try to bait Tyler in.
Small contact between the two, but Tim holds it on track and gets past the Red Bull driver and even has got the DRS. So Tyler Thomas is basically without any weapons right now on his old hard tires. And the question is, can Tim...
Luke Baker, he's also looking for a move on Tyler. This is just like we said, Tyler is becoming a sitting duck on this track right now on those old hard tires. He's doing a fairly decent job there though, Felix. Gotta give him that.
Yeah, but those are going to be some long remaining 7 laps for Tyler Thomas.
Oh, it is.
Those will be probably one of the longest of his life. But right now, like you said, he's done a pretty decent job as Luke Baker cuts the corner, goes wide, and Thomas McIver says thank you very much, goes up into P7, and now he gets the chance to overtake Tyler Thomas on those 20-lap old hards.
But will he be able to, though? It looks like he's a little too far behind going into turn 3 here. So I think he's going to have to look for moving to turn 4 instead. But look at this. Look at the exit. Thomas has so much more grip than Tyler. And now Tyler will be attacked into turn 4. As you can see, Tyler goes defensive. Thomas is going to have to take the outside line. Thomas is trying to make his switchback work. He's now going to have to use the outside line in this left-hander, but I think he's gotten the move done.
Yeah,
there,
very clean racing. That was great. Fair play to those drivers.
Great racing.
And Tim is catching up to Richie Davey, who's doing a great debut. He's up to P4. And right now, I think on pens, he is actually in P3. Will he actually get a podium on penalties on his debut? That would be amazing.
Well, gotta give it to him. If he does get that podium in his debut, then I believe he's joining an elite group of people who's done that. I believe you might have gotten the podium.
Got McKenna going side by side with Reese March. That is sort of final points paying position for P10. Don't hit that grass on that side. That already killed, I don't know who it was. I think Tyler Thomas. So be careful with that, Scott. Oh, he slightly touches the rear of Reese March, which puts him off, gets him a awful run out of turn 3, and now Scott McKenna has got the DRS and has got the move done, and Reese March has to concede that position.
And I can tell you that there is action up ahead to Luke Baker is trying to work his way past Tyler Thomas, but he's struggling a little more than the previous drivers. Obviously, their soft tires are starting to come to that drop-off zone now, while Tyler's tires should just really stay the same as they've done for the last maybe 10 laps now.
Yeah, we've got a proper race up on our hands, Andre. And also,
look at that! Thomas goes right into the wall after the last corner. He just spins it on the exit, and it's another safety car.
Oh, that is going to be a 2-lap sprint to the end, Andre. Who's going to pit? Will Tyler Thomas pit now, or will he say, I'm staying out? DRS won't get enabled anymore because there definitely has to be 2 laps of racing, and I'm pretty sure it's only going to be 2 laps.
It depends on how quickly that safety car goes in.
That's true, but I think it's...
Usually it does stay out for 3 laps, but sometimes when it is right at the end of the race, it does sometimes just stay out for 2 laps too.
Well, I'm very glad that this game is pretty unrealistic and the safety car can't finish the race. So we have a bit of green flag racing. But now the confusement goes down a little bit, but still we've got some 5-second time penalties that have been added in that previous safety car phase. And does Callum Anderson dive into the pits? No, he thought about it.
Paul, he stays out. Callum stays out. Adam Bicer will stay out.
Let's see what Tyler does.
Richie David, same.
Tyler
Tim
stays out. Tyler stays out.
Stay out, Tyler. He stays out. It's too far at the end, and since they just had a safety car, they're too close together that Tyler would lose a lot of positions.
I agree, 100%. I think that's the smartest thing,
honest,
and that could have saved him.
He's shown good pace on those old be hard, so...
Yeah, he might be able to defend
After the
his
safety car goes in, those soft tires shouldn't have much life left in them, so... I think it should be a little easier for him to defend from Luke, Matt, Scott, Reese, and Tom and the others right now.
Yeah, and
Tom is early on.
I think, Sondre, I think we will see Richie Davey on the podium interviews because I believe Adam Spicer has picked up a 5-second time penalty in a previous safety car phase for ignoring yellow flags. That might have been because of Shane, but we have to take the first 3 drivers from the race results. Penalties might be added or removed after the race investigations, but those won't take place until Tuesday. So we'll have to take the provisional results from today. And I'm pretty sure Richie Davey could be here, but I think we'll see a lot of penalties getting removed afterwards. But penalties will definitely spice things up. Speaking about penalties, Jessica Harrison picks up another 5-second but she's last, so that won't really matter. Adam Corrigan goes past Schenker Leo, who's lagged out.
I think for Jessica right now, she knows that she's not going to be fighting for wins or anything here. I think the races she's doing in this season are very much about gaining some experience and some miles, to be fair. Just getting a little into it, because like as we saw in, what was it, not France, but the race before, she
Canada.
Didn't do too badly in quali, I believe.
Yeah.
If it was Canada or the race before.
I think she finished P11 even in that race. Just outside the points, I think.
Just outside. But let's see now. I believe the safety car should be going in this lap.
Yeah, I
we
think
can see that all
that's...
of the field is gathered up to...
ERS won't probably be a factor, Sondre, as well, because we only got 2 laps of green flag racing then.
Correct.
So we've got all or nothing for all of these drivers out on track. And even though it's pretty clear that Paul Farthing has got the best pace out of everyone in this race, the game hasn't really made it easy for him, has it?
It hasn't. He's been pretty much dominant from start to finish so far. Well, start to finish, I say. We haven't actually finished, but up until now, obviously,
he's been doing a Verstappen. just staying in front, even though there are so many safety cars. And Tim picks up a 5-second time penalty. That makes... Has he got from wing damage? Has Tim got from wing damage? I think he has. I think he hit Richie Davey. No, he doesn't. But Tom Spicer goes now. Paul Farthing, I'm sorry. Oh, and he loses the back end. And he clips Callum Anderson, who's got from wing damage now. And he could drop out of the podium paying positions now. There's been contact between the 2 championship leaders. And Paul Farthing has basically got that win secured now, with Callum Anderson having front wing damage. And Tim picks up another 3-second time penalty. And Richie Davies right behind Adam Spicer as well. He might go for a move for the top 3 position. Maybe he can get this podium on track, as well as Adam Spicer breaks himself. And Richie Davies gets past him. So does Tim, I think. They're going side by side down to turn 4. And Adam Spicer just lost 2 positions within 1 corner due to his misjudgment of the braking zone. But there he goes down the inside of Tim. Tim turns in, doesn't leave him space. Tyler Thomas loses the spot, the P6 spot, to Luke Bacon. So to take over, please, because I don't have any air left.
Well, I can tell you that I was following the fight between Luke and Tyler surprisingly managed to hold off Luke for a long time, but it was coming in the end. And Tyler has lost the position now, although he's still in 7th, still might be able to pick up points. But look at this though, Richie Davies all over the rear of Callum Anderson as they're heading down the main straight up to turn 1. Is Richie gonna go for it? He's gonna wait for the longer straight up into turn 2 and turn 3, as we now
no DRS enabled.
No DRS, but he does have ERS and he's using it, and Callum is trying to defend the inside line. But Richie, though, he's gonna try.
Oh, there goes Tim.
Oh, and look at this. Tim is in the picture suddenly, too.
He hasn't got the straight line speed, though, I think. And
it doesn't look like
when he goes down the inside. No, he tries to go around the outside into turn 4. That's very aggressive. He goes off the track and hits the grass, and that's his position done. So it seems like Richie Davey has got P3 at the moment, but will he keep it on pens? We will see in a few moments. But Paul Farthing comes around the final few corners as there's still action on track. Sondre, if you could keep an eye on that.
Richie Davey almost losing it right before the second to last corner, but
here comes Paul Farthing round the final corner. He takes a dominant win. He's doing a Verstappen safety car after safety car, and he kept his head cool. And Richie Davey has got a podium on his debut.
And Adam. Oh, and
Matt Romano.
Very confusing over the line there.
So many penalties applied, and Matt Romano, Sondre, he's got P4. Amazing job from him. What a great race.
Job from the Mercedes team today then, as we can see that.
That's your provisional podium. Oh God.
The win.
That was a hell of a race, Sondre, especially those last few laps with the safety cars. That was really, really exciting. and controversy as well as the two championship leaders collided, and Callum Anderson nearly lost P2 because of that. But well done from Callum, how he kept P2 in front of Richie Davey. Tim has dropped out of the podium and lost more points to the two championship leaders. As we have your provisional results right here, Paul Farthing takes a very dominant win, very impressive, and also the fastest lap with a 1:06.8. Really good job. Callum takes P2 just in front of debutant Richie Davey in P3. Amazing job from him. Also Matt Romano from 17th on the grid finishes P4. Scott McKenna, not really seen much in this race, but takes P5. Great job from him. Tim Bruce Dalens in P6 in his Renault. Reese March takes P7. Tyler Thomas in P8 on his hard tyres. Very good job. Luke Baker in P9, and Adam Spicer's dropped down to 10th, even though he was up into P3 at some point right before the end. And that were your top 10 finishing positions. And what a race we've had again, Sondre. What a race.
Well, I couldn't say it better myself, Felix. Matt, in the end, finishing P4. Debutant Richie Davey from 11th up to P3 in the end. Paul just staying ahead, doing his job exactly what he needed to do the whole race. And Callum just being there, pushing him to the limit to make sure that he didn't get it for free.
Yeah, if you could suggest the top two, the P2 and P3 drivers, that would be really nice. But yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah,
What a race we've had, and so many people doing so well. I mean, debutant Richie Davey, like you said, in P3. Also, Matt Romano from P17 on the grid, not really seen anywhere all race long, and then he suddenly comes out of nowhere, picks up P4, and so did P5 driver Scott McKenna. He wasn't really shown on stream, I think, but he's been very consistent, it seems like, and he got P5 in the end.
There you go, Felix.
Yes, well, I invite them. We already have race winner Paul Farthing joining us for the interviews. That is really nice, as I'm trying to invite P2 and P3. So I guess you'll have to do the tweets again, and I will do the interviews.
I don't have any tweets to do right now, but I think I will let you start the interviews.
All right. So we'll just wait for the other drivers to join for a moment. Sondre, I have to calm down a moment. That was nerve-wracking, I'd say. Nerve-wracking, really nerve-wracking. But while the others are hopefully joining, we'll just get started. Paul, how many times did we have to interview you after a race? Or not we had to, but we were glad to have you here. And now, yet again, a very dominant victory from you. I said to Sondre, it reminded me of Verstappen in many races. Germany or Brazil last season. Safety cars or basically everything in the race, trying to make it as hard as it can for you. But you still managed to keep your head down, keep it cool, keep your pace up, and in the end, it's not only P1 but also the fastest lap. How do you do that? That was impressive.
Pure luck. Straight pure luck. I had Callum chasing me, so that put me under pressure under the safety cars.
So you would say it was more down to luck instead of you just keeping it clean and keep your head cool? Or do you think your driving and your pace and your consistency has put some addition to that as well?
I think today's race was just about comfort, really. I think that's what it really was. I got in the groove and carried on.
Yeah, it looked really, really good in terms of pace. Also, the fastest lap, you caught up 8 points now to Callum Anderson due to him finishing P2 for the moment. A lot of incidents were there, especially at the safety car phase, when no one really knew what was going on. Especially when I think Adam Spicer was it who lagged into P1 for the moment. What was your thinking at that moment when he took the lead under the safety car, even though he wasn't allowed to, but just lagged into P1?
I was like, what's going on? I was like, I'll just stick behind, buy my time, and somehow we went past him again, me and Callum. It was a bit weird, put it that way.
Yeah, I think he let you two buy in the end at the end of the safety car then, so you could perform your restart. But at the restart of the second safety car, we saw you going a bit wide into the penultimate corner, and then you made contact with Callum. Just tell us your thoughts about that.
You know when you don't give the safety car enough time, it auto brakes you, don't you?
Yeah.
That's what happened. It auto braked me, put me out of shape, and obviously Callum was coming full throttle, and I had nowhere to go.
So basically just a very unlucky situation for you two there. Obviously Callum being the one that came up worse out of that, but he still kept P2. But once again P1, once again 8 more points in the championship, and yeah, that must be really satisfying, taking another win, and also in such a dominant fashion. Are you planning on continuing that streak next week when we're heading to Britain, your home track?
We always do, mate. Me and Callum put on a good show for you lot, don't we?
Of course, we always enjoy it. And yeah, your qualifying performance has been great all season long. Do you think you could also, because it was really tricky in qualifying with those conditions, is it just down to you being so quick around in terms of one lap pace? Do you feel confident with such a low fuel load?
No, I just love Austria. Put it that way. I enjoy it quite a lot.
We definitely saw in terms of pace. So yeah, then I'd say congratulations on your win today, yet again. 8 points gained in the championship, and good luck for next week in Britain.
Cheers, mate.
Right, Sona, do you want to take over P2 or should I go on?
Keep going, Felix. Keep going.
Okay, I'm going to keep going. So, P2, Callum, yet again, also a very well-known voice in this interview. Tell us about your race.
Then another safety car came out and yeah.
Yeah, it certainly looked like a consistent race still from you. I mean, a lot was going on, but you two always seem to stay out of trouble, more or less. And once again today, that was the case. And I already asked Paul about that. He said the game just outbraked him because the safety car was too close to him as it entered the pit lane. What was your feeling in that moment when you lost a big chunk of your front wing after the second safety car restart? Were you worried that you could lose your podium?
Felix,
Yes.
they can't hear Callum. I'm just saying what they said.
Well, that's not good.
Hey, my voice is on.
Is it on shared?
It's on always allow.
Okay, that's very weird then, because people should be able to hear Sondre.
Well, I mean, if it's on share, I don't really have any solutions there. If you're trying to get one from me,
And now it's okay. Wooly said, Craig Wooly said, now.
Carry on,
hearable.
you can hear ya.
Yeah. All right. So
it wasn't.
just a quick summary, as last time in Canada already. Just summarize it real quick.
We had a good start to the race, going into P3 and then overtaking Tim. And then I tried the undercut on Farf and it sort of worked until Big Shot sent it. And then a safety car came out, Farf was too quick. And then another safety car came out and then that's where we got, I think.
Yeah, yet again, like I said, you two always seem to be very consistent, no matter what is thrown at you. You always seem to keep your head down and keep it clean. Um, what's your way to do it? What's your plan for these races? Are you just going into the race with a goal to get a solid finish, or are you always like trying to get the maximum out of it, or would you rather just stay there in on the podium positions?
To get the maximum out of it, I just want to win every race now to end of the season.
All right, so
I don't know if it'll work. Very optimistic, but I'll just go for it.
and yeah, we saw Paul have an amazing pace, like you said. Does that worry you in some kind of way for the remaining races of the season? I mean, you still got the lead in the championship, but he's caught up by another 8 points, race win, and fastest lap. Are you worried that he's going to keep on dominating the next few races like he did this one?
I wouldn't say I'm worried. I think I'll be able to catch up, but it's just about consistency. End of the day, innit, which I'm not the best at. It's just we'll just see what happens towards the end of the season.
All right.
I could battle loads.
So looking into the future, into next week on Sunday, we're heading to Britain. How do you feel about that?
Yes, I love it.
Okay, that's great to hear. So you're confident that you can maybe get some points back?
I don't know. I'll have to see the pace really, but I think I could go for it and try win. Yeah.
All right, so very glad to hear that. We're looking forward to next week already, and congratulations on P2 today.
Thanks.
And then coming up to third place driver. First of all, please this time make sure, Richie, that you've got your microphone on shared. Hello, Richie? Okay, it seems like Richie is in the party, but not speaking.
Hello.
Ah, there we go. So,
bad.
is your microphone on shared?
Yeah.
Perfect. So, yeah, definitely one of the contenders for driver of the day, debut in IRL, and straight away you got a podium. Did you believe that was like anywhere near the possibilities you had in this race?
Nah, not at all, bruv. Not at all. Quite surprised, but I'm quite happy. So, yeah.
Yeah, we saw a very chaotic race, but also you kept it clean. And then suddenly the first safety car came out, and suddenly you were right up there. We were realizing, wait, you already had a good race, and then you were suddenly up into P4, P3, or whatever it was, and we actually thought we would see you on the podium interviews, and that's what happened. And how do you feel? Like, what are your expectations for the rest of the season? I mean, you came in with a bang, immediately a podium, 15 points on the table. What do you expect from the next races?
Well, to be honest, bruv, it got off to a bad start because straight off the line, I lost some of my front wings. I was like, oh man, so I had to do all the first stint with a broken wing. Because I was going to pit on that one and I thought I'll just carry on. So I just carried on, grinded my way through, and then as you said, luckily, safety car helped me out a little bit. And then there was a few good little battles, a few little overtakes. Sorry, Callum, for making that little move on you when you overtook me, but, you know.
I'm
thought-
well annoyed.
I thought, I don't care if I'm on fresh tyres, man. The move's there, so I went for it. I don't know what happened after that, because I forgot. But, yeah, man, the rest was just lucky, because, believe me, I ain't going to be a podium contender every week. I'm going to be like a midfield driver, so I think this is a one-off, so I'm going to make the most out of it, so yeah.
Well, you certainly put expectations pretty high now for the next races, so the pressure is on. But we definitely, we won't gonna lie right now, we definitely didn't have you on the list for the podium. But the great it is to see you here, seeing drivers come out of nowhere, come to the first races in IRL, and then seeing that I'm on the podium immediately. So what's your? You said you expect to be a midfield driver. So what is your goal for the rest of the season? Is it just trying to collect solid points? Is it consistency? Is it maybe a few good results?
It's just as long as I have a nice clean race with nice clean battles, I ain't even bothered. If I can get like P8s, P7s, or 10ths, I'm happy. If I get a race win, which is never going to happen, then I'll be even more happy. But yeah, man, I'm just if I can get points, I'll be happy.
All right, then looking forward to next week, I guess, with Silverstone coming up. Also, your home track. How do you feel about that?
Not great, mate. It's one of my worst tracks, so expect to see me at the back.
Well, it's definitely going to be contrast to this week then. But
Yeah,
who knows? Everything can happen, as we saw today again. So huge congratulations on your debut and also on your first podium immediately. Great job and congrats.
Cheers, bud.
So, Sondre, we had another thrilling race today. After 1 week off for us, we haven't been disappointed at all, yet again. And yeah, I'm really glad we were here today. Your very odd commentary duo, the Norwegian and the German. Back at it again for you, and we're gonna be there next week again. So thanks for joining me, Sondre. It was a pleasure to be with you as the record holder for the most F1 races. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you next week again. Make sure to check out the F2 stream, which was at the same time as this race. Next week on Saturday we've got F1 in Britain. Then on Sunday we've got F2 and F3 again. And check out the IRL Twitter channel as well. And until next week, take care. And hopefully this next week's race is going to be as exciting as this one was. And till then, goodbye and take care, everybody.